we're going to give you basic instructions on how to build your own PC in 5 minutes. Make sure that you have everything that you need: processor, motherboard, hard drive or SSD, power supply, RAM, and of course your PC case. Don't forget the tools that you will need. In this case, you'll be using pliers, screwdrivers, both long and short, and box cutters. First is your case. Before everything else, make sure that you prepare your PC chassis. In this case, we'll be using the BitFenix Prodigy, perfect for our build since we'll be using an ITX motherboard. Make sure to remove all your side panels, as installing the motherboard would be impossible if the side panels are still in place. Next, prepare your motherboard. Part of the preparation for the motherboard is installing your processor. As a guide, use the notches found on both sides of the processor. Line this up with your socket and you're basically good to go. Do not apply unnecessary pressure once installing the processor. Just line it up and place it on top. Give it some wiggle to make sure it's securely in place. After placing your processor is the cooler. In this case, we'll be using the stock cooler provided in the processor box. Line up all the holes with the corresponding holes on the motherboard and then apply pressure until you hear the click. Before installing the motherboard to the case, make sure you put the I/O shield in its proper place. Once you've installed the I/O shield, now you're ready to install your motherboard into the PC chassis. Line up all the motherboard's input-output to the input-output shield already placed into the case. Once you've lined that up, make sure all the motherboard holes are also lined up to the motherboard standees located on the motherboard tray inside the chassis. Once they're lined up, you may now place the screws in those screw holes, making sure to tighten them simultaneously. Once the motherboard is secured into the motherboard tray, you may now place your RAMs. Installing the RAMs will be very easy. Just make sure that the notches found in the RAMs line up with the motherboard's notches. When you've done that, you're ready to install your power supply. Installing your power supply is easy. Install the necessary cables before you slide them inside the case. At this part, do some preliminary cable management. This next step involves installing the SSD to the SSD tray provided at the side panel of the BitFenix Prodigy. The next step would be to install the video card. Once you've installed all your key components, you may now proceed by attaching the necessary cables one at a time. When lost and in doubt, you can always consult the manual. Then reattach the side panels. Congratulations! You have just finished your first PC build.